San Diego Padres baseball coming up on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. Today the Padres take on the New York Yankees in the first game of a three-game series. Our starting pitching matchup today for the Yankees, left-hander Carlos Rodon, and for the Padres, right-hander Nick Pivetta. Hi, good everyone. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. First pitch coming up at Yankee Stadium in New York at 4:05 p.m. Coming up in the next 50 minutes, we'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. We check in with Tony Gwynn Jr. at the stadium in just a little bit. Our keys to the game, a full breakdown of a really good starting pitching matchup in this series opener, and much, much more to come. But first, it's time to set the table. Brought to you by Fraser Farms Market. Set your table with the highest quality of natural and organic products from Fraser Farms Market, a San Diego original since 1971 with 3 locations, La Mesa, Vista, and Oceanside, and at FraserFarmsMarket.com. Padres come in 22-11, currently sitting a half game out of first place behind the Dodgers in the NL West. Padres have won 5 games in a row, 2 against the Giants, and a 3-game sweep against the Pirates. That came after a stretch where the Padres dropped 8 of 11 games. Padres in the midst of a 3-city, 9-game road trip. They begin the second leg of that trip here today. Meanwhile, the Yankees are 19-15, sitting in first place in the American League East. Yankees have lost 3 of their last 4 games, including the last 2 of a series over the weekend against Tampa Bay. Before we turn our full attention to today's game in the Big Apple, let's revisit yesterday's series finale in Pittsburgh.
Did you miss what happened in the last Padres game? Let's take a look back with our Padres Rewind on the Padres Radio Network.
Yesterday at PNC Park in the first inning, Manny Machado hit a 2-out double. He was in scoring position for Xander Bogaerts.
1 to Bogaerts, hit hard on the ground to the left side, underneath of Hayes' glove into left field. Machado rounding third. He's going to come in to score, and the Padres take a 1-0 lead here in the first.
Padres had a 1-0 lead early. Elias Diaz led off in the top of the second.
2-2 again to Diaz, leading off in the second inning, and he launches one in the air to deep left field. Tommy Pham going back, still on the move. He's at the wall, leaping up, can't get it, a home run. Elias Diaz with his third of the year to straightaway left here at PNC, and the Padres double the lead. It's 2-0.
Padres weren't done. Brandon Lockridge doubled. Luis Arraez reached on an infield single to put runners on first and third with 2 men away and 2 on base. It was Xander.
No balls and a strike to pitch. And Bogaerts swings, hits it on a line to left field. That's a fair ball. Going to bounce and roll all the way to the wall. Lockridge walks home. Arraez rounding third on his way. There will be a relay to the plate, but it's got no chance to get him as he slides in. And now Bogaerts, as the throw got through the catcher Davis, heads to third base. A 2-run double and a 4-0 Padre lead.
Already 3 RBI for Xander Bogaerts in 2 innings. Padres had an early 4-0 lead through 2. From that point on, the story became Padres starting pitcher Stephen Kolek making his 2025 Padres debut and his first ever major league start. Kolek was really good. He started the day with 5 scoreless innings. He allowed 1 walk in the 6th inning. That was it for Kolek. Jeremiah Estrada came in, gave up a double, but Estrada struck out the next 2 to close the book on Kolek and keep it a 4-0 game. Kolek's final line, 5 innings and a third. No runs, 4 hits, 4 Ks, 2 walks, 84 pitches, and 51 for strikes. The rest of the game, well, it was pretty simple. Adrian Morejon pitched the scoreless 7th inning. Wandy Peralta dealt a 1-2-3 8th inning. Jason Adam put on the finishing touch in the 9th.
2-2. Here's the pitch, and McCutchen swings and misses. Strike 3. Adam strikes out the pinch hitter to end the game, and the Padres have once again swept the Pittsburgh Pirates.
A very, very good weekend for the Padres. 5 wins in a row and a 3-0 start to this 9-game road trip. As always, if you want to get involved, you can do that in a number of different ways. You can find me on X at Sammy Lev, SammyLev. Instagram DMs open as well at Sammy Lev there too. And you can also comment on the 97.3 The Fan YouTube stream. Let me know, what is your key to today's game and this series against the Yankees? May just read your key to the game coming up a little bit later on. Let's go out to the Bronx.
Let's take a trip up to the Padres broadcast booth for a deep dive on today's matchup with Tony Gwynn Jr. in our Padres game preview on the Padres Radio Network.
Tony, let's start with the weather. Things I've heard throughout the day have not been particularly good. What is the weather like right now in New York City?
Well, it's going to continue to not be a good forecast for you there, Sammy. It's raining. It's hasn't stopped raining. It's see a few puddles on the foul track. None yet in play, but listen, they say we're going to play. It does not look good, though.
All right, tarp is on.
Tarp is on.
Okay. All right. We'll keep an eye on it, and we'll be sure to let everybody know what's going
they're
on.
Actually, just now starting to work on some of these puddles.
Okay.
That they got near the dugouts.
Okay. Well, that's a good sign. We'll continue to to keep everybody alert on what's going on as the next 40, 50 minutes rolls along. But for now, we're going to treat it like we're playing on time just after the top of the hour. Really good starting pitching matchup in game one of this series, Tony. Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Padres. Carlos Rodon on the mound for the Yankees. Both these guys are throwing the ball really well. With Pivetta in particular, Tony, what continues to impress about the way Pivetta continues to pitch?
Pitchability. He's not like overpowering, but he's tactical with everything he's using, and there's a purpose behind it. I think early on watching him in spring, it felt like he was going to lean heavily on the curveball, and at times he has, but he's used his whole repertoire that just to almost to perfection. Outside of the one wonky start he had in Chicago, he's just been very precise with all of his pitches.
Yeah, he's been really, really good. We'll see if he can do it again today against the Yankees, a team that he's had some trouble with in the past. Obviously, Yankees have seen him a ton. Pivetta spending a number of years with the Boston Red Sox. Tony, I have this keys to the game segment every day, and sometimes, I'm kind of looking through notes, and it can be kind of tough to pick out certain things, certain keys to the game. But I feel like when you play the New York Yankees, before I even looked at anything for this series, the first key in my head was, hey, you got to find a way to limit Aaron Judge, because you look at the numbers early this season. I mean, it just continues to be a simply generational, unbelievable type player, and he's doing it again here in 2025.
Listen, I'll say this. That is kind of the objective when a opponent has that type of player that can make the difference, and that's how they're going to approach it. And listen, O'Neal Cruz is not anywhere in the realm of what Aaron Judge is, but you saw how the Padres dealt with him, understanding that he was the guy in that particular lineup that could cause them harm and that could make it a much more difficult series. So they basically just took him out of it. They put him on 6 times. I think they got to him pretty good. And that, in the end, that last game got to him. He started to kind of go outside of himself, and the Padres ended up punching him out a few times. I expect that it'll be the same type of treatment and maybe even more with Aaron Judge. I mean, there were no intentional passes to O'Neal Cruz. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw some in this matchup against a guy like Aaron Judge, because ultimately the way he's the best player in the league right now, and it's not close, and you're circling his name at the beginning of the series. This guy cannot beat us. We don't need to put ourselves in spots where he can beat us. And if we have a choice in the matter, we will elect to pitch to whoever's behind him. That's what my guess will be.
And we'll talk a little bit later, but the guy in front of him hitting leadoff for the Yankees, our old friend Trent Grisham, he's off to a great start this year. So we'll talk about Trent a little bit later as well. Top 2 in the lineup, very dangerous right now, and Grisham and Judge. Finally, Tony, before I let you go, Manny Machado seems to be heating up. Last 5 games during this win streak, he's hitting .421, couple of extra base hits. He was asked after the game yesterday if he feels like he's starting to get into one of those classic Manny tears. What are you seeing from Manny Machado the last 5 games or so?
I think a lot of what we saw at the beginning of the season. Listen, again, I'll point as I pointed out on our show before I came on with you. Luis Ariz is an important piece. It changes how teams can approach Manny. And I think more importantly, he relieves Manny of maybe feeling like he's got to go out and do more. And I think what you've seen is, since his return, is Manny kind of get back to what he was doing at the beginning of the season, which is hitting the ball all over the field with authority. And so I think he could be very well lining up and getting into one of those hot streaks. But I also think the lineup as constructed right now plays to his benefit, and you're forced to have to deal with Manny in a different way than you were when he didn't have Luis in front of him hitting. And so I won't be surprised at all to see him go on one of those Manny Machado tears.
All right, Tony, good insight as always. Stay dry in the Bronx as we continue to monitor the weather situation. I did have some photos sent to me from New York in the last few minutes, and I'm with you. The puddles don't look very good. Doesn't look like a great scene there at Yankee Stadium right now. So we'll keep everybody updated on what's going on. But for now, Tony, we'll talk to you and Jesse coming up towards the top of the hour. As always, thanks so much.
No problem, Sam. Thank you.
All right, Tony Gwynn Jr. joining us on our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show here on the Padres Radio Network. As again, we get ready for first pitch right now, scheduled for 4:05. We have not heard a word otherwise, so we're going to treat things like we're starting at 4:05 until we hear anything else. But again, Tarp is on the field. It is raining in New York. I got a photo sent to me of the field, and I'll tell you, the puddles don't look great. So I'll be honest with you. I mean, it's not a home game. We're sitting here in San Diego. I'll be honest with you. It's a little hard for me to believe that this game is starting at 4:05 local time right now based on what we know, what the weather situation is in New York. But like we did in Pittsburgh, we will continue to get you ready for today's game, and we will keep you company until whenever today's game begins. When we come back, we hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt on a number of different things. Jackson Merrill is back with the team in the clubhouse today, although Merrill is not in the lineup today and was not activated before today's game. So we'll hear Mike Shildt talk a little bit about that. When we come back, we'll also have who's hot, who's not, a look at the out-of-town scoreboard, our keys to the game coming up later as well, as we get ready for this series opener coming up at Yankee Stadium in New York. Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues after this on the Padres Radio Network. Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios as we get ready for first pitch. Coming up in just a little bit at Yankee Stadium, tarp on the field in New York. The rain coming down, but we will be with you until whenever today's game begins. And again, right now we're planning for a 4:05 local time first pitch in New York. If we have any updates for you, we will be sure to very quickly pass them along. When we do get started today, it will be a great pitching matchup between right-hander Nick Pivetta and left-hander Carlos Rodon on the mound for the New York Yankees. The Padres come in a record of 22-11, playing very, very good baseball right now. Padres have won 5 in a row, 2 wins against the Giants, 3 wins against the Pirates, and now a tough test against the Yankees on the road in New York. It is going to be an interesting series. Michael King making his return to Yankee Stadium tomorrow. We'll hear from Eric Boland, who covers the Yankees for Newsday in New York, about Michael King, also about Aaron Judge coming up a little bit later, and we'll hear from Michael King on our pregame coverage tomorrow as well. Right-hander Dylan Cease on the mound for the Padres on Wednesday. So the Padres sending their best to the mound in this 3-game series. Pivetta today, King tomorrow, and then Dylan Cease scheduled for Wednesday. Then an off day Thursday. Padres continue the road trip to Denver, Colorado to take on the Rockies in a 3-game series, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then it's back home to take on the Angels a week from today at Petco Park. Well, Jackson Merrill, as you probably know by now, he played 2 rehab games with AA San Antonio on Saturday and Sunday. And Jackson is back in the clubhouse today, although Jackson Merrill was not activated before today's game. So we'll hear from Mike Shildt on Jackson in just a moment. Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Padres today. He continues to be terrific. And we'll also take a quick look at the Padres lineup before we hear from Mike Shildt, because he gets asked about one of the guys not in there as well. Fernando Tatis Jr. in right field leading off. Luis Arraez at first base batting second. Manny Machado at third base batting third. Xander Bogaerts, the shortstop, batting cleanup. Luis Campusano, the DH, batting fifth. Oscar Gonzalez in left field batting sixth. Elias Diaz behind the plate batting seventh. Tyler Wade, the former Yankee, at second base batting eighth. And Brandon Lockridge, former Yankee minor leaguer, in center field batting ninth, with Nick Pivetta on the mound. Let's hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt before today's game.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Served up by Sin Lee Food, where fresh meets flavor. Find farm fresh produce, bold Asian spices, and gourmet ingredients at 4665 El Cajon Boulevard. Sin Lee Food, the cook's Asian resource.
Nick Pivetta going for you. He's taken his game to a different level this year, whether you look at righties or lefties. What do you think has been the biggest difference for him in terms of what he's fine-tuned to take it to the next level?
Yeah, I think he's done a lot of quality things. You say righty, lefty. He's been terrific for us. His fastball's got a lot of life to it. He's been able to throw it in the zone. He's been able to work off of that to throw other pitches, been able to control counts, get ahead, and has pitches to put them away. So he's done a great job.
Facing an offense that has scored a lot of its runs via the home run. So obviously you need to be careful of that. You're always conscious of not trying to put guys on base. And even more important to make sure there's no free passes and with a home run hitting team like this.
I think it's always important. I mean, listen, regardless of the clubs you play, there's capable guys in the lineup. Clearly they have a good lineup. We don't like to give anything away in competition. We want to make and execute our game plan and make adjustments when we see they need to be made adjustments during the game. So, we're going to pitch them tough. We'll pitch our game and we'll catch the ball and go play the game.
Jackson Merrill in the clubhouse today. How exciting is it to see him making progress and hopefully joining you soon?
Yeah, no, it's great. Jackson's back. Looks like he really was, as you would expect with all our guys, like just got through doing it. Crony's in the process of doing as well, but just a very professional rehab. He dominated every day in what he was able to do. No more, no less. Actually, some more on some of the areas that he was looking to help support the team and stay ready mentally. But it's great to have him back, and we'll see what tomorrow looks like.
Not playing tonight a matter of just the travel or the wet weather on the field?
Not playing tonight as a schedule of his rehab.
Okay.
Yeah, he played Saturday, played Sunday, and scheduled a day off today to recover, from a couple games. But yeah, so he's on track for tomorrow.
Jose Iglesias not in there tonight. Is he all good, or you just got Wade going against the lefty?
That's our lineup for today.
Okay, so Iglesias is good.
That's our lineup for today. Yeah.
You guys are obviously getting healthier, getting these guys back right now. For you to have been kind of like be where you are now, like kind of the record that you have, and played some of the baseball that you have. What does that do, kind of springboard maybe for the rest of the season in terms of knowing you can sustain some of the adversity that you faced?
Yeah, I mean, we sustained it last year. You know, it's part of the game, right? Is no one's going to feel sorry for you. You know, we talked about winners finding solutions. We have roster's depth. We have people that are capable and fulfilling different roles if called upon. And you know, unfortunately, we've had to call upon it, but fortunately, guys have answered the bell, and guys have come up and contributed, taking a complete roster, not only the 26 we have, but the 40-man as well. And yeah, it's further indication that we have good players, but also a complete indication that we play the game the right way. It gives us the best chance to win. If you, this game I was talking about earlier, we throw strikes, you know, we're always going to be together. That's what this group does. A lot of love in this clubhouse. You know, we play clean defensively. We just got through doing, of course, the last 5 games. And we execute on offense and take what the situation gives us, whether it be with the at-bats or on the bases. You know, Toddy coming to mind, you know, in game 2 in Pittsburgh. All those things, you know, stack up to give me the best chance to shake hands.
That was Padres manager Mike Shildt earlier today inside the office, inside the visitors clubhouse at Yankee Stadium. We'll hear more from Mike on our post-game coverage coming up later on this evening. Sam Levitt back with you inside our San Diego studios. And, well, we've told you about the weather in New York. It's raining. The tarp is on the field. There are puddles on the warning track. Well, guess what? We have a delay before first pitch. Officially from the New York Yankees, we will not start on time at 4:05 p.m. local time, so we will, for the 3rd time in 4 days, have a delay before first pitch. Now, as I always say, that's the bad news. The good news, you get a little more Sammy Lev in your life. We will keep you company until first pitch right here on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network, and we're going to slow things down on our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show. You know our pregame coverage, very fast-paced, very informational. It'll stay informational. It'll stay entertaining. But with a rain delay before first pitch, we slow things down, take a nice leisurely stroll up until first pitch, and we'll even take your phone calls coming up a little bit later, 833-288-0973. Again, we will not start today's game on time at 4:05. We will officially have a delay before first pitch due to the weather in New York. But for the next half hour, 40 minutes, we'll continue our typical pregame coverage, get you ready for this series opener against the Yankees. Let's tell you who's hot, who's not.
Which player is locked in at the dish? Who needs to kick things up another notch? This is Who's Hot, Who's Not on the Padres Radio Network.
We begin with a look at the hot category. Luis Arraez in there. He's 8 for 21 with 5 RBIs in 5 games since coming off the IL. Manny Machado also in the hot category for the Padres. Starting to get the feeling that Manny is about to go on one of those typical Manny tears. In this 5-game winning streak, Machado batting .421 with a home run, a double, 3 RBIs, and 4 runs scored. Tyler Wade in the lineup today playing second base his last 7 games, batting .350 in 20 at-bats with 2 extra base hits. And again, you heard little back and forth there during the pregame media availability. Tyler Wade in the lineup, Jose Iglesias not in the lineup against the lefty on the mound today, and Carlos Rodon. Well, Iglesias went 0 for 11 in the 3-game series against the Pirates. Jose in the not category before today's game. And that's a look at who's hot, who's not, as we walk you up towards first pitch coming up at some point in New York on this Monday. Let's take a look at some headlines from around the major leagues.
Let's examine the most important news and the latest information you need to know in the world of Major League Baseball. Sam Levitt takes you Around the Horn, presented by Valley View Casino and Hotel. Get ready for Major League winning when you join Valley View Casino and Hotel's Players Club and receive over $200 in free instant offers. Visit valleyviewcasino.com to learn more today.
Take a look at some headlines from around the major leagues. Former major leaguer Brett Boone has been named the new Texas Rangers hitting coach. That's after the Rangers fired hitting coach Donnie Ecker yesterday. Brett Boone, somebody that we've had on the station a number of times, hosts an Odyssey podcast, and Brett Boone, now the hitting coach of the Texas Rangers. So congratulations to Brett Boone going on to be a major league coach once again. Blue Jays transferred 3-time Cy Young Award winner Max Scherzer to the 60-day IL earlier today. 40-year-old righty has not pitched since March 29th because of inflammation in his right thumb. He will be eligible to return on May 29th. Veteran pitcher Ross Stripling announced his retirement today. Lengthy major league career with the Dodgers, Blue Jays, Giants, and A's. Some headlines for today. The Twins are set to welcome back 2 key players in their lineup today after activating third baseman Royce Lewis and utility man Willie Castro from the IL earlier today. Lewis opened the season on the IL with a left hamstring strain. Lewis, a great player, but he has been hurt quite a bit. Top 2 teams in the American League West meet today, the Mariners and the A's. Yes, think about that. 2 top teams in the AL West early this season, not Houston and Texas, but Seattle and the A's. They begin a 3-game set in Sacramento today. Seattle enters today with a 2-game lead over the upstart A's. And we'll have a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard coming up in our next segment. When we come back on our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show, we told you about Jackson Merrill. It's expected that he will be activated tomorrow. We heard that from Mike Shildt a little bit earlier. It was part of Jackson's rehab schedule that he would get the day off today after playing in rehab games at San Antonio yesterday and Saturday. But he's on track, as Mike Shildt said, to get activated and play tomorrow. Another Padre, very important Padre, continues to work his way back. And according to the reporting from this morning in the local media, sounds like that player might be back on Friday in Colorado. So we'll tell you about that when we come back. Our keys to the game, full look at the out-of-town scoreboard. A little bit later, we'll also take a much deeper look at our starting pitching matchup between Nick Pivetta and Carlos Rodon. Again, we do have a delay before first pitch in New York, but we're going to keep you company here on 97.3 The Fan in the Padres Radio Network until today's game begins. We will get to your phone calls a little bit later, but if you want to get in line, wait on hold for a little bit. We'll talk anything Padres related you want. Phone number is always 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973 is always the phone number to call. You're listening to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show on the Padres Radio Network. Welcome back to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show. EcoWater SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. Your water should be perfect. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios as we get ready for this series opener between the Padres and the New York Yankees. And again, if you're just joining us, we will not start on time. 3 out of 4 days we've had a rain delay before first pitch, so it will not be the scheduled 4:05 p.m. local time start in New York today. But when we have first pitch time, we will be sure to pass it along. Any updates on the weather, we'll be sure to pass it along. And until then, you got me. So what we're going to do for the next half hour or so at least is we will continue our typical pregame coverage, get through all our normal segments, and when we're wrapped up with all that, we do invite you to call in 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973 is always the phone number to call. Talk anything Padres you want to talk about, anything Major League Baseball you want to talk about, and beyond. I mean, call me up. You can talk about whatever you want. Dating advice, you want, recipe advice. I'm not the greatest person for that, although I am very much enjoying my recent purchase of an air fryer, so I'm getting good at that. How about that? That's a good one, actually. If you have any air fryer recipes, I want to know about it. You call me up at 833-288-0973. You can talk Padres, but you can also give me some good air fryer recipes. We'll get more into the air fryer coming up a little bit later on. In this segment, our keys to the game, full look at the out-of-town scoreboard. We'll also hear from Yankees beat writer Eric Boland of Newsday in New York, and we'll get a little info on Aaron Judge, and also hear about Michael King, who will make his return to New York tomorrow on the mound for the Padres in Game 2 of this 3-game series. We gave you the update on Jackson Merrill before the break. We'll revisit that, but let's get to a little bit more injury news with our injury report.
Who's in? Who's out? This is the Bada Fulkerson Injury Report, presented by San Diego's Bulldog Injury Attorneys, who hope you're never in an accident. But if you are, make Bada Fulkerson the first call you make. Hit them up 24/7 at badafulkerson.com.
As you heard from Mike Shildt a little bit earlier, Jackson Merrill is back with the team after playing 2 rehab games in San Antonio over the weekend, but Jackson will not be activated today. It sounds like the plan is for Jackson to be activated tomorrow. Today, apparently just part of the rehab schedule, a day off after playing the 2 rehab games in San Antonio, but Jackson, according to Mike Shildt, on track to return tomorrow and come off the IL. Other injury news on the Padres side of things. Kevin Acee writing this in the San Diego Union Tribune this morning. Jake Cronenworth still expected to rejoin the team on Friday in Colorado. Jake has been in Arizona getting at bats with the Arizona Complex League. Anthony Volpe for the Yankees back in the lineup today. Their shortstop after missing yesterday's game against the Rays. He felt a pop in his left shoulder while diving for a ground ball on Saturday. Yankees without Jazz Chisholm Jr. right now. He's on the IL with an oblique injury. And that's a look at our injury report. Jackson Merrill on the precipice of returning. Jake Cronenworth getting very close as well. And Anthony Volpe back in the lineup today after missing yesterday's game for the Yankees. Again, a rain delay before first pitch. We'll keep you posted on any information we hear, but let's give you our keys to Game 1 of this 3-game set.
How will the Padres unlock a win today? These are the keys to the game. Presented by El Centro Motors Ford. Meet your new Ford General Manager, Greg Ryan, now at El Centro Motors Ford, your new Ford truck, Bronco, and SUV HQ. Call Greg directly at 619-944-0774.
Key number 1, Nick Pivetta in a new uniform against the Yankees. Pivetta has seen a ton of the Yankees over the past handful of years. Remember, he was a member of the Red Sox for the last 5 seasons, but Nick Pivetta is 0-4 with an 8.25 ERA and 8 career starts against the Yankees. All those starts with the Red Sox, and the Red Sox lost 7 of them. Pivetta didn't face the Yankees at all last year. So Nick Pivetta reversing his fortunes against the New York Yankees. That is key number 1. Much more on Pivetta coming up a little bit later. Key number 2, and to me, this is the key in the series for the Padres, dealing with Aaron Judge. Judge is in the midst of a 15-game hitting streak. He's batting .474 with an .825 slugging percentage in that span. 10 extra base hits, 11 RBIs, 12 runs scored in this 15-game hitting streak. But on the season, I mean, you got to listen to these numbers. He's an unbelievable player. Judge leads the majors with a .423 batting average. He's second in home runs with 11. He's second in RBIs with 33. He's leading the major leagues with a .510 on base percentage. He leads the major leagues with a .777 slugging percentage. And oh yeah, he's leading the major leagues with a .1287 OPS. I mean, one of the best players in the game, one of the best players of this era, this generation. Judge has 2 home runs and 18 career at-bats against Nick Pivetta, limiting Aaron Judge one way or another, a huge key. That's key number 2. Key number 3, Xander, the run producer. Xander Bogaerts drove in 3 runs yesterday, his second 3 RBI game in the last 5 games. Before that, the last time Xander had 3 RBIs in a game was back in August of 2023. Xander back in the cleanup spot today, playing shortstop. Padres need him to keep on driving in runs. That's key number 3. Key number 4, keep penning a masterpiece. The Padres had yet another shutout win yesterday. That's now 8 shutouts this season, 3 more than any other team in the majors. It's now tied for the 4th most in Major League history through the first 33 games of a season. No team has had this many shutouts this soon into a season since the 1969 Cubs. That's how good it's been, and a big part of the pitching and the shutouts continues to be the Padres bullpen. Padres bullpen leads the majors with a 1.73 bullpen ERA. And how about this? The Padres are 19-0 when leading after 7 innings so far this season. The bullpen has been terrific. And key number 5, get them on, get them in. Padres are 17 for 39 with runners in scoring position in their past 5 games, a .436 batting average with runners in scoring position in this 5-game win streak. Got to keep those numbers up. They've been very, very good with RISP in this 5-game stretch. Can they do that today and in this series? That's key number 5, and that's a look at our keys to today's game. Oh, Eric Boland, Yankees beat writer from Newsday, a newspaper in New York, joined the Braden Soprenet show earlier today here on 97.3 The Fan. Did a nice job previewing the New York Yankees before this season begins. So while we have a little time as we wait out this rain delay in New York before first pitch, I figured why not revisit some of the things that Eric Boland had to say. Here was the Yankees beat writer on what it's like to cover Aaron Judge.
I've said this when I've been asked that very question, that it must be the way the writers and reporters felt back when they covered Mickey Mantle, where, you know, this guy just is seemingly so much better than everyone else. And it's not just the number of home runs, it's the, you know, the prodigious nature of them and the big spots that they come in. Now, certainly it has not happened in the playoffs. That is definitely on his career resume, something that's been lacking. But, you know, the regular seasons that he's put together when he's been healthy, you know, he's right now a first ballot Hall of Famer, hands down, with no question whatsoever about that. I would certainly argue, you know, pretty strenuously anyone that would say that he's not, when you just look at the numbers he's put up when he's been able to be healthy. But you know, look, I mean, I'm not a Yankee fan. I didn't grow up a Yankee fan. This is a job. I get paid the same whether the Yankees win or lose. All of that said, I love the job. I don't want to do anything else. And one of the aspects of the job that you really feel privileged on a day-to-day basis is being able to see some of the greats of the game and to have been able to, you know, chronicle in some small way Judge's career, which is now in its in 9th season, is, you know, that's certainly something whenever I'm retired, which hopefully is later rather than sooner, though in this business, as you know, we don't always have the control over that. But this will be something that I look back on without question as a career highlight.
That was Eric Boland of Newsday talking about covering Aaron Judge. Let's hear a little bit more from Eric Boland, who joined the Braden Soprenet show here on 97.3 The Fan. Earlier today, Michael King will make his debut against the Yankees tomorrow. Debut against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. Of course, Michael pitched for the Yankees for a really long time, was part of the trade that sent Juan Soto to the Yankees. Michael King becoming what certainly has been the centerpiece of the package the Padres got back. So an exciting, emotional day for Michael King tomorrow. I'm sure we'll hear from Michael on our pregame show tomorrow. But here was Eric Boland, Yankees beat writer for Newsday, talking about covering Michael King.
I remember talking when Michael was establishing himself in the big leagues a few years ago as a bullpen stud for the Yankees. He was kind of a swing guy, but really was a multi-inning pitcher that they would bring in specific circumstances. The starter was struggling in the 5th inning. There are a couple of runners on. They bring King in, and get a couple of big strikeouts, and then throw 3 scoreless innings, dominate, 9 up, 9 down, whatever. And it was an invaluable role for that year. But Michael never made any bones about it that he wanted to be a big league starter. And I remember talking to Garrett Cole about King a few years back before he had started starting. And Cole, I remember very explicitly him saying, "This kid's got everything you look for to be not only a good big league starter, but a great one." And I think that, obviously Michael grew up a Yankees fan, families from the Northeast. I'm not telling you guys anything that you don't know. I'm sure he said it as well. Never wanted to leave the Yankees, was crushed certainly at first when he was a part of that trade. But getting traded to San Diego allowed him the opportunity to develop into what he's developed into, which is a frontline starter. And I can tell you, the Yankees, when they were talking to A.J. Preller about that trade, they basically were pleading with A.J., take anybody off of our roster from the big league level to all the way single A, anybody but Michael King. We'll give you 10 prospects. Just don't take Michael King. They wanted to do everything they could to avoid King being a part of that trade because, they saw the potential that you guys in San Diego have ended up seeing. And I don't think there's any reason to expect, yes, he'll have mixed emotions. He's still close with quite a few guys in that clubhouse. And you mentioned, Aaron Judge certainly at the head of that list. But between the lines, he's one of the great competitors that I have covered. Even just covering him a handful of seasons, you could see that in him as a young pitcher. And when I started covering this beat, that was the last vestiges of the Mariano Rivera, Derek Jeter, Andy Pettitte. I could go down the line. Those dynasty teams who are great competitors, and Michael King between the lines is I believe cut from that same ilk.
That was Eric Boland of Newsday, Yankees beat writer in New York, talking about Michael King. Again, Michael King will pitch against the Yankees tomorrow at Yankee Stadium. Sam Levitt back with you inside our San Diego studios. We do have a rain delay before first pitch, but I do have some good news. We now have a scheduled first pitch time for 4:30 p.m. local time here in San Diego, 7:30 in New York. So again, 4:30 p.m. first pitch now. They are starting to get the field ready in New York. So that is very, very good news. And we'll go out to Jesse Agler and Tony Gwynn Jr. in just about a half hour at 4:20 p.m. So that's the good news. And we'll keep you company right here on the Padres Radio Network, 97.3 The Fan, until 4:20 p.m. So what we're going to continue to do, go through our normal pregame coverage, slow things down, take a leisurely stroll towards first pitch, if you will. And coming up in about 10-15 minutes, we'll take your phone calls at 833-288-0973. Let's take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
We have a couple of games going on right now. We have another game and a rain delay as well. Dodgers lead the Marlins early in the first inning in Miami, 1-0. A game delayed before first pitch. That's in D.C. Guardians and the Nationals are in a rain delay before they get started in that one. Everything else coming up a little bit later on. Reds and the Braves in Atlanta at 4:15 p.m. Brady Singer on the mound for Cincinnati. A.J. Smith-Shawver on the mound for Atlanta. White Sox and the Royals in Kansas City at 4:40. Cole Reagan's on the mound for Kansas City. Astros and the Brewers at 4:40. Ronel Blanco on the mound for the Astros. Tobias Myers on the mound for Milwaukee. Giants and the Cubs at Wrigley Field in Chicago at 4:40. Matthew Boyd for the Cubs. Landon Roop on the mound for San Francisco. Pirates and the Cardinals in St. Louis at 4:45. Mets and the Diamondbacks Diamondbacks in Arizona at 6:40. Ryan Nelson on the mound for Arizona. Griffin Canning on the mound for New York. And finally, matchup of the two best teams in the American League West so far this year, Mariners and the A's in Sacramento at 7:05. Good pitching matchup in that one. Luis Severino on the mound for the A's. Bryce Miller on the mound for Seattle. And that's a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Monday as we get ready for first pitch. Now coming up at 4:30 p.m. local time here in San Diego. We'll go out to Jesse and Tony at 4:20 p.m. Do want to read a comment here on YouTube because, of course, during our rain delay programming, during our extended edition of our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show, we invite you to get involved in a number of different ways. You can call in 833-288-0973. Find me on X at Sammy Lev, SAMMYLEV. DMs on Instagram open as well. Same handle there. But Mark on YouTube writing, "Did you lose your razor, Sammy? Looking kind of rough." Huh. Well, I'm sorry. A guy doesn't shave for a few days and he gets called out. Yes, I've not shaved for a few days. Padres aren't at home. I'm just coming in the studio, seeing all you wonderful people on YouTube. A guy can't go without shaving for a few days. I don't know, Mark. Maybe I'll grab a razor during the break, shave, and I'll come back on the YouTube stream in our next segment all smooth and ready to go. We'll come back after this. What to watch for in today's game. A full breakdown of today's pitching matchup between Nick Pivetta and Carlos Rodon. Then we'll take your phone calls as we get ready for first pitch coming up at 4:30. Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues after this on the Padres Radio Network. EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres radio network. We have a rain delay before first pitch in the Bronx, but we are getting towards first pitch now. First pitch now scheduled for 4:30 p.m. local time here in San Diego. We go out to Jesse Agler and Tony Gwynn Jr. in just under 25 minutes. They'll come your way from the broadcast booth at Yankee Stadium at 4:20. Still a lot to do on our pregame coverage. We'll tell you what to watch for in today's game in just a moment. A full breakdown of today's pitching matchup between Nick Pivetta and Carlos Rodon coming your way as well. Really, really good starting pitching matchup. Couple of guys throwing the ball really well right now. And as we have an extended edition for the third time in 4 days on our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show, we do invite your phone calls. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Phone number to call. We can talk whatever you want Padres related. You can hop on hold right now. We'll get to your phone calls coming up after the very top of the hour. Again, first pitch coming up at 4:30. Let's tell you what to watch for in game one of this three-game set.
What's the one thing Sam Levitt will be keeping his eye on in today's game? This is What to Watch For. Presented by Genesis Home Improvements, San Diego's trusted painting, roofing, and window company. Save 15% today on a new beginning for your home. Visit GenesisHomeImprovementsSD.com.
What to watch for in today's game? Facing an old friend in the Yankee leadoff spot. That is Trent Grisham, who is leading off for the Yankees today, batting in front of Aaron Judge, playing center field. Trent Grisham, to his credit, is off to the best start of his career. He's batting .296 with a .605 slugging percentage in 28 games this season, 8 home runs and 16 runs scored. And Grish, again, leading off for the Yankees today. He's been great so far. So what am I looking for in today's game? Well, quite frankly, how does Trent Grisham do against his former team? He's been very, very good so far this season. Trent Grisham in that leadoff spot. Can the Padres keep him off base in front of the very, very dangerous Aaron Judge right behind him? That's what to watch for in today's game. Like we've said, really good pitching matchup today between Carlos Rodon and Nick Pivetta. Let's dive in.
Let's take a look at who's on the bump today with our starting pitching preview on the Padres Radio Network.
32-year-old left-hander Carlos Rodon on the mound for the Yankees today. He's 4-3, a 3.43 ERA, 7 starts on the year in 42 innings. He's won 3 consecutive starts and allowed just 2 earned runs on 8 hits in 19 innings during those 3 starts. That's a 0.95 ERA and 24 strikeouts in that span. Rodon leads the majors in opponent batting average at 154 among pitchers with at least 25 innings of work. Faced the Padres last May at Petco Park and threw 6 scoreless innings in that game. Matchups to watch against Rodon: Xander Bogaerts 5 for 12 in his career against Rodon. Jose Iglesias, who again is not in the lineup today, might be available off the bench. Jose Iglesias 5 for 16 in his career against Rodon, just so you know. Right-hander Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Padres today, 32 years old, and as we know, Nick has been great so far. 5-1, 1.78 ERA, 6 starts on the year, 35-plus innings. He struck out 39, walked only 8. His last start against the Giants went 5 innings and a third, 3 earned runs on 5 hits, 9 strikeouts. His last 4 outings, very, very good, a 1.42 ERA in 25-plus innings. Pivetta has an opponent batting average of 169. That's the 3rd lowest among pitchers with at least 25 innings of work. Over the last 15 seasons, Pivetta is one of just 6 pitchers with 5 or more wins, an ERA under 180, a 250 or lower slugging percentage against, and more than 9 strikeouts per 9 innings in his first 6 starts of a season. Again, that's in the last 15 major league seasons. That's how effective Nick Pivetta has been. He's also done a really, really good job against the top of lineups. Top 4 batters in a lineup against Pivetta hitting just 161 with only 5 extra base hits. And again, you look at that top of the order for the Yankees today: Grisham, Judge, Ben Rice, Paul Goldschmidt, Cody Bellinger after that. How does he do against the top half of that Yankee lineup in this series opener? And that's what to watch for in today's game in our pitching matchup between Carlos Rodon and Nick Pivetta. As always, thank you for listening to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show. EcoWater SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. Your water should be perfect. Again, we go out to Jesse and Tony at 4:20. We have a short delay before first pitch. First pitch coming up at 4:30 local time here in San Diego. So I'm with you for the next 20 minutes. And when we come back, we'll get to some of your phone calls. 833-288-0973. Again, phone number to call, 833-288-0973. As we walk you up towards first pitch coming up in the Bronx at Yankee Stadium. This is the Padres Radio Network.
This is Dan Fulkerson with Bada Fulkerson Law Group, San Diego's favorite personal injury law firm. Here to help.
Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. First pitch coming up in New York at 4:30 p.m. So it looks like we're going to have about a 25-minute or so rain delay before first pitch. We go out to Jesse and Tony in under 20 minutes. They come your way at 4:20. They'll have the full starting lineups, hopefully first pitch, and then all the play-by-plays. We continue what is an extended edition of our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show, and we'll revisit some of the things we had to say a little bit earlier as we get towards 4:20. But while we have time, 4 p.m., San Diego, America's finest city, on what has been a really dreary day here in San Diego. It's been cloudy. It's been rainy. I mean, I just like the sunshine. I like the sunshine, but not too sunny here today, unfortunately. Maybe sunny where you are, but where I've been today, it's been cloudy and rainy. So why not take some phone calls? 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. While we have a little time, talk anything Padres related. Padres on a 5-game winning streak, coming off a 3-game sweep of the Pirates, and now they head to New York City to begin a 3-game series against the Yankees in just about a half hour. Let's begin things. We go to Jake calling in from North Park. Jake, you're on the Padres Radio Network. Go ahead.
Sammy, you're on the Padres Radio Network asking about air fryer recipes.
Yes.
You're too good, man. You're too good.
Oh, I get it. Wow. I didn't even think about that, Jake. Nice. I see what you did there. Nice job.
Okay. Well, I don't have one for you, but I do want to know. I'm sure you've heard the Padres are retiring their City Connect uniform.
Mm-hmm.
What do you hope for or expect from the next one?
That's a great question, Jake. What do I expect? I don't know. I mean, I don't have any info. I'll tell you this. I do love the current ones. I mean, I'm going to really miss them, to be honest with you. I really, really love the current ones. I think they're, to me at least, very vibrant, very San Diego. I love seeing the gear. People seem to love the gear and the colors and the mint hat. I really like these, so I'm going to miss them when they go. As far as the new ones, I don't know. I don't have any info on it. I can't give you any spoilers on it. I don't know. That's a good question of what I'd want to see. I do like bright colors. I like these current ones, but I mean, if you're going to make a new one, I guess could be something kind of different from that. We'll see. We'll see. I don't really know, to be honest with you. I haven't given it a ton of thought, to be honest with you, but I'm excited to see it for sure. I'm sure it'll be cool. I'm sure it'll be different. And you know what? It seems like, refreshing these every few years. Every team's doing it right now, and they're coming up with really cool ideas. And I'm never against a new look and something new and cool and fresh. And I think the Padres' initial City Connects have been a smashing success, really. I mean, everybody wears them. I like them. I think they really fit the Friday night San Diego vibe. I really do. I like them a lot. So, I hope the next ones are equally as cool. Let's go to Joey calling in from the South Bay. Joey, you're on the Padres Radio Network.
Sam, good to be on the phone with you, brother.
You got it.
And it's always good running into you at the Western Meadow building too.
Oh, okay, yeah, absolutely.
Hey, the first thing I wanted to say was thanks a lot for the work that you and your producer put in. I was driving home that day where you said that you had, for that big rain delay, you I don't know, got into the studio at like 12:30 or something like that. You were still on the horn with us at 9 o'clock when I was driving home. It was much appreciated.
You got it. Hey, it's my job. That's what I'm here for.
When I was a kid, rain delays were, on the radio, they could always kick it back to the home studio and let some DJ just, get on there and read news or whatever. But on TV, what they used to do a lot of the times was if they knew it was going to be extended, they would play like an old Major League Baseball World Series film or something.
Yeah.
When I was a kid in the 70s, and that was always great.
Mm-hmm.
You get to see some things that maybe you hadn't been able to see before in a little bit of baseball history. And I also wanted to give you a good idea for an air fryer. I think that you'd dig this. I mean, you love bagels, right?
I do.
If you ever get a bagel or two that's kind of getting on the old side, whether they're halved or they're whole,
mm-hmm.
Cut like partway into them, make like bite-sized pieces. Just go around with the knife in a circle
mm-hmm.
around the bagel.
Mm-hmm.
Put it in a container.
Mm-hmm.
2-3 tablespoons of olive oil, some seasoning, salt, pepper to taste,
mm-hmm.
whatever you want. Just soak it up there and then put it in the air fryer for, I don't know, like 300 for 10 minutes or
mm-hmm.
whatever. Just keep checking to make sure you don't burn it. And then to do those, to dip them in like a honey jalapeno flavored hummus or something.
Okay.
Oof.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no.
Joey, I'll try that. That sounds good. That sounds really good. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Look, I love a bagel, and that would be a nice way to take some old bagels and spice them up a little bit. That's a good idea by Joey. All right, might look into that. I'm not a huge hummus guy, to be honest with you. I prefer like baba ganoush. I'm not a huge hummus guy. But yeah, I could try that. Maybe find like some dip, some egg. I like eggplant based dip, if you will. But I'll try that, Joey. Let's continue on the phones. Again, we've got a little bit of time here to spend with you until we send things out to Jesse Agler, Tony Gwynn Jr. at 4:20. We're talking air fryer. We're talking Padres. Why not? Little rain delay theater for you. Let's go to Brock calling in from San Diego. Brock, you're on the Padres Radio Network. Welcome in.
Sammy.
Hey.
It's funny. I just want to start real quick. I think it's funny that in this age of the digital age, now people can see you, so they're like, dude, you're looking rough. But if you think about all the stuff that probably went on at some of these radio stations and in these booths before the digital age,
mm-hmm.
I can only imagine. They just got to keep you on your toes, right?
Yeah. Well, hey, nobody, you know what? Look, I to be honest with you, I think I always at least try to look presentable, but yeah, we're all on YouTube now, so you can't like just kind of wear whatever you want, and you got to be, you got, at least for me, I got to be a little conscious of how I'm dressed and understand there are going to be people looking at me, which is fine. Now, when I'm here in the studio, yes, I sometimes will go a few days without shaving, so hopefully everybody's okay with that. But I don't grow facial hair particularly well anyway, so it doesn't really get that crazy.
Everybody does it, but anyways, I just want to say that kid Jacob, he's looking amazing, right? And I'm not too sure. I'm sure you know, but do you know what happened to Tom Cosgrove? Because I really liked him, and then now he's just gone.
Yeah.
And also, before you cut me, real quick, you know what? One of the don'ts with the air fryers: don't put seafood in that thing. Your house will smell.
Yeah.
And it will not go away for days. But
yeah.
anyway,
and by the way, Brock, you're talking about Alec Jacob.
Yeah.
The reliever. Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Brock, appreciate the phone call. Look, Alec Jacob has been really, really good. He's been, a really solid piece out of that bullpen. I think one of the beauties about this bullpen and why it's been so good is they've got guys that you can really trust even when you're behind. I mean, Alec's not the top of the list as far as high leverage arms. You've got a number of guys ahead of him, whether it's obviously Suarez, Adam, Estrada, Morahone. You might put Yuki Matsui, certainly Wandy Peralta in kind of that high leverage category. But Alec Jacob, when he's been called upon, has been really good. Look, a big reason why this bullpen has been so good is because it's not just a handful of 3-4 guys at the top doing it. It's everybody. It really is. And Alec's been very, very good. And he had a great spring training. He had the opportunity to be on the major league roster at a spring, and he's been really, really good. Now, it's going to be interesting. We'll see when somebody like a Sean Reynolds is ready to come back, who's going to get sent down if Sean Reynolds is added to the major league roster. But Alec Jacob, I think, has been very, very solid. And what you like about Jacob as well is that he gives you a little bit of a different look. He's different, especially if a team has never seen him before. That sidearm delivery, it's different. So you like that as well. As far as Tom Cosgrove, you may have missed this. Tom was designated for assignment, I think it was early April, and then the Padres traded him to the Cubs for cash considerations. That was on April 10th. So you might have missed that, but Tom was designated for assignment, and then he was traded to the Cubs for cash considerations. Tom, a really good guy, obviously had a really, really good 2023 season, and certainly wish Tom the best. Let's continue on the phones. We go to Aaron calling in from Vista. Aaron, you're on the Padres Radio Network. Go ahead.
Hey, Sammy, how are you?
Hey.
Hey, so I just wanted to talk to you. At the beginning of the year, my thoughts on who the linchpin player of the year was going to be Xander Bogaerts.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to get your thoughts on that. And then second question is, since you've been in the minor leagues for a long time,
mm-hmm.
other than Leo DeVries, who is your next up-and-coming Padre you really want to see on this squad?
That's a good question. Let me talk about Xander Bogaerts first. Look, Xander, obviously, it's been up and down so far this season. Now he's got 2 3 RBI games in the last 5 games. He had a great day yesterday. And look, the Padres need him to just do what he did yesterday, and that's produce runs. I don't really care if it's with home runs or if it's with singles or it's with extra base hits, especially until they're back at full strength with guys like Merrill and Cronenworth back in there. They just need him to produce runs and be productive, especially when he's batting in that cleanup spot like he's doing once again here today. Look, I still hope and feel like we have not seen the best of Xander Bogaerts in a Padres uniform. Obviously, it's been an up and down experience for Xander so far, but he's a very, very important piece to this team and would be so additive if he can really put together a great stretch. So, hey, I'm never shy about it. I root for Xander. I think he brings a lot to that clubhouse, and hopefully from a run producing standpoint, what we've seen in a couple of games in this 5-game win streak, hopefully it's a sign of things to come. As far as the prospects, obviously DeVries is just looking sensational. He's off to a terrific start at 18 years old in the Midwest League. I'll give you a name that I'm really, really high on personally, and it's a starting pitcher, and we saw him quite a bit during spring training, but he went back down to Double-A to begin the year, and that is right-hander Braden Nett. Really good stuff, really highly touted. I think he's got a lot of potential, really good head on his shoulders. I enjoy talking to him. As far as starting pitching that is close, because the Padres do have guys like Boston Bateman and Cash Mayfield that were just drafted last year. They're at Lake Elsinore. They're a ways away. But as far as a guy that I think you could see before the year is over, if needed, and certainly maybe next year, I think Braden Nett is somebody that I'm very, very intrigued by, excited about, because the stuff plays, and I thought he was really impressive in a number of ways during spring training. Let's squeeze in one more phone call here before we go out to Jesse Agler, Tony Gwynn Jr. Let's go to Brandon calling in from La Mesa. Brandon, you're on the Padres Radio Network.
Sammy, I'm honored. I'm the last call to get in on you. I apologize for all these rain delays that you're having to fill all this time in. I was listening to Ben and Woods this morning, and they were saying that you've been pretty much a master of being able to fill in this time void that you're not really.
I'm trying.
And it's just it's fantastic that our conversations have come to air fryer recipes and not liking hummus. But you know what? That's okay with me.
All right, we got a lot of time to fill.
Exactly. As long as our ball team keeps winning games and, putting the numbers they put on, hopefully, Judge, you can give up a solo homer to him each day as long as nobody on and we're able to come back here. I'm just thinking, hopefully, these next 6 games, we come out with at least 4-2 on that.
Mm-hmm.
And we keep just grinding it out. And I'm excited for our next homestand against the AL West. And, yeah, just go Padres. Appreciate everything you're doing, brother.
Well, Brandon, appreciate it. And look, the schedule is going to start to get a little bit easier starting on Friday. You've got 3 games against the Rockies. You've got 3 games against the Angels. The Angels, a team that, got off to a good start. They have not played nearly as well as of late. So after this series against the Yankees, it'll get a little bit easier, to your point, as we sort of just refocus here on today's game before we go out to Jesse and Tony. You're right. There's no question about it. Dealing with Aaron Judge is a huge key tonight. And in this series, he's in the midst of a 15-game hitting streak on the season. The numbers are incredible, and this is an incredible player. He's leading the majors with a .423 batting average and a .510 on-base percentage, and he leads the majors with a .1287 OPS. He's second in home runs with 11, second in RBIs with 33. He's a tremendous player, and you got to find a way to limit him because he's a guy who can very easily hit a couple of home runs and totally wreck the game. So big key today, early, Pivetta against Grisham, who's off to a really good start in front of Judge. And then, of course, Aaron Judge in that number 2 spot in the Yankees lineup. So we'll see how Nick Pivetta does. We'll see how left-hander Carlos Rodon does. Very good starting pitching matchup. And as we illustrated a little bit earlier, 2 guys that are throwing the ball extremely well right now for their respective teams. Padres come in to today's game. This series opener at Yankee Stadium, 22-11. Entering today, sitting a half game behind the Dodgers for first place in the National League West. Again, the Padres have won 5 games in a row, 2 against the Giants, and then a 3-game sweep over the weekend against the Pirates. Padres in the midst of a 3-city, 9-game road trip. They begin the second leg of that trip here today. Yankees playing pretty well. They're 19-15 on the year, sitting in first place in the American League East. The Yankees have lost 3 of their last 4 games, including the last 2 of a series over the weekend against the Tampa Bay Rays. That'll just about do it for our extended edition of our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show. When we come back, finally, we go out to Jesse Agler and Tony Gwynn Jr. They have the full starting lineups, first pitch, and all the play-by-play live from the Bronx at Yankee Stadium. I'll talk to you on our post-game coverage. You're listening to your home for San Diego Padres baseball, 97.3 The Fan, and the Padres Radio Network. Enjoy the game, everybody.